In today's video, I will be explaining every UFC fighter's nickname so that you're no longer confused when Bruce Buffer presents your favorite fighter in the octagon. The Notorious. Conor McGregor's nickname, The Notorious, is a self-selected title directly influenced by the rapper The Notorious B.I.G. Rather than receiving it from teammates or coaches, McGregor adopted it early in his career because the rapper's image, confidence, showmanship, and confrontational charisma aligned with how he wanted to present himself in combat sports. The choice was intentional, a marketing tool and an identity marker that helped distinguish him in a crowded field. And as McGregor's profile grew, the nickname exploded as a consistent
Thanks for watching today's video.
If you enjoyed, please
persona,
like, subscribe,
and adding to
and
the
hit the bell for
unmistakable
more.
recognition.
Also,
that
please
followed
comment
him
any
into the
videos
UFC.
you would like to see
Stylebender.
next, and I'll
Israel
be sure to use
Adesanya
your
created
guys'
the nickname
ideas in the coming
Stylebender
videos as a direct reference to Avatar, The Last Airbender, reflecting his interest in anime and the idea of mastering multiple forms. The name highlights his approach to striking, where he blends techniques from kickboxing, boxing, and MMA with precision and variety. By choosing the nickname himself, Adesanya framed his identity around technical versatility rather than brute force. Over time, Stylebender has become a shorthand for his emphasis on creativity, timing, and fluid movement inside the cage. Borz. Khamzat Chimaev's nickname, Borz, comes from the Chechen word for wolf, a symbol closely tied to bravery, strength, and loyalty in Chechen culture. The name wasn't created as marketing. It reflects a cultural identity he grew up with and a personality trait his community values. In Chechnya, the wolf is also associated with resilience and readiness for conflict, traits that match Chimaev's aggressive, pressure-heavy fight style. As he rose in MMA, Borz became the defining label for his approach, direct, relentless, and rooted in his heritage. Poatan. Alex Pereira's nickname Poatan comes from the Tupi language and translates to stone hands. It was given to him by his first kickboxing coach, who recognized both Pereira's indigenous heritage and his unusually heavy punching power. The nickname emphasizes a defining technical attribute, his ability to generate knockout force with minimal windup. Over time, Poatan became closely tied to his striking identity, reinforced by the stone-pebble tattoos on his hands that reference the name directly. El Matador. Ilia Topuria's nickname, El Matador, developed early in his MMA career and draws directly from Spanish bullfighting imagery. The reference highlights traits valued in a matador: timing, precision, and composure under pressure, which aligned with how coaches viewed his striking approach. Although he briefly experimented with rebranding to La Leyenda, the legend, fan response favored the original name, and he reverted quickly. Today, El Matador functions as a technical descriptor rather than a dramatic persona, emphasizing his ability to control exchanges and counter opponents with accuracy similar to a matador facing a bull. The Machine. Merab Davalishvili's nickname, The Machine, originated in the gym, not in marketing. A teammate noticed his ability to train at a pace most fighters couldn't match, constant takedown attempts, non-stop scrambles, and high-volume cardio sessions, and labeled him a machine because he didn't slow down. The name captured a measurable attribute of his style, sustained pressure over long durations rather than explosive bursts. As Davalishvili advanced in MMA, The Machine became an accurate shorthand for his work rate, wrestling-focused approach, and endurance-driven strategy inside the cage. The Highlight. Justin Gaethje's nickname, The Highlight, was adopted because of the unusually high action rate in his early career. Nearly every fight ended in a knockout, a brawl, or a dramatic momentum swing. Coaches, commentators, and promoters began referring to him this way because his bouts consistently produced footage suitable for promotional reels. The name reflects a measurable pattern in his style: forward pressure, high striking output, and a willingness to trade even at personal risk. As he moved from WSOF to the UFC, The Highlight became an accurate descriptor of both his fight mechanics and his entertainment value. Sugar. Sean O'Malley's nickname Sugar was given by one of his early coaches in Montana, who described his movement and striking as sweet to watch. The name was selected to reflect style rather than personality, specifically his timing, footwork, and clean shot placement. O'Malley was initially offered the nickname The Spider, but he rejected it to avoid comparisons to Anderson Silva. As his career progressed, Suga became part of his branding, aligning with his emphasis on fluid offense, showmanship, and visually distinctive striking mechanics. Sexual Chocolate. Before John Jones became known universally as Bones, he briefly carried the nickname Sexual Chocolate inside his training circle. The name came from teammates who used it jokingly during his early MMA development, referencing the pro wrestling character made famous by Mark Henry. It wasn't connected to his fighting style or public persona, and Jones never adopted it professionally. As his reputation grew and his lanky frame stood out in wrestling rooms and local circuits, Bones replaced it entirely. Sexual Chocolate remains a short-lived, informal label from his early gym environment rather than a recognized career nickname. Iron. Michael Chandler's nickname Iron reflects qualities observed throughout his wrestling and MMA career: durability, work rate, and a pressure-heavy style built on conditioning. The name was adopted during his rise in Bellator, where coaches and commentators highlighted his ability to maintain pace through extended grappling and high-intensity striking exchanges. Along with that, Chandler always looked up to Mike Tyson, and being named Michael, he only found it fitting to use the same nickname. Unlike flashier nicknames, Iron functions as a straightforward descriptor of his physical resilience and training habits. When Chandler transitioned to the UFC, the nickname carried over easily because it aligned with the measurable attributes of his competition style: explosiveness, grit, and sustained effort in high-pressure scenarios. Du Bronx. Charles Oliveira's nickname, Du Bronx, comes from the neighborhood where he grew up in Guarujá, São Paulo. Locals referred to the area as the Bronx because of its high crime rates and tough living conditions, drawing a comparison to the reputation of the Bronx in New York decades earlier. Early in his career, event announcers and training partners identified him as Charles from the Bronx, which was eventually shortened into Du Bronx in Portuguese. The nickname serves as a geographic marker rather than a comment on his fighting style, highlighting his origins and the socioeconomic environment he came from before becoming a UFC champion. The Reaper. Robert Whitaker adopted the nickname The Reaper early in his UFC career to represent the qualities he valued most in his approach to competition: discipline, precision, and a composed finishing instinct. The name was intentionally chosen for its association with finality and effectiveness rather than theatrics. Although fans later created the alternate nickname Bobby Knuckles, Whitaker kept The Reaper as his official identity because it aligned more closely with his technical, methodical style. Over time, the nickname became a concise descriptor of his strategic pressure, clean shot selection, and ability to take over fights through consistency rather than spectacle. The Diamond. Dustin Poirier's nickname, The Diamond, was given early in his amateur career to describe how he responded under pressure, performing better as the intensity increased. The reference comes from the idea that diamonds form through extreme force, paralleling Poirier's ability to absorb damage, recover, and regain momentum in difficult fights. The nickname isn't tied to a specific moment or coach, but developed naturally as observers noticed this pattern across multiple bouts. As Poirier advanced through the lightweight division, the Diamond became an accurate shorthand for his durability, composure, and consistent improvement against higher-level opposition. The Spider. Anderson Silva's nickname, The Spider, was inspired by comparisons to Spider-Man, largely due to his long limbs, rangy frame, and fluid defensive movement. Coaches and training partners began using it as his style developed, particularly his ability to control distance, slip strikes, and counter with precision from unusual angles. The name stuck because it accurately described technical characteristics of his fighting approach: evasiveness, unpredictability, and the ability to create openings using reach and timing. As Silva established one of the most effective striking games in MMA history, the Spider became one of the sport's most recognizable nicknames, tied directly to his movement patterns and in-cage control. Rocky. Leon Edwards' nickname Rocky developed early in his UK regional career and serves two practical purposes. It ties to his given name, Leon, and it reflects the underdog trajectory that defined his early life and fighting path. Coaches and training partners used it informally because of his steady, grind-oriented style and his ability to persevere through setbacks. The name gained broader recognition as Edwards accumulated wins without the promotional push, typically given to rising contenders. After his late-round knockout of Kamaru Usman, Rocky became even more closely associated with his competitive identity, symbolizing persistence, recovery under pressure, and long-term resilience, rather than a dramatic persona. Thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more. Also, please comment any videos you would like to see next, and I'll be sure to use your guys' ideas in the coming videos.